So far this offseason, the Cubs lost Shota Imanaga. No, they didn't. He accepted a qualifying offer. The left-hander is back. They added Phil Maton, 2-year deal, club option, pretty good back-end bullpen guy. What's the next move going to be? Can the Cubs find the money to sign Kyle Tucker? What if they don't? I know Justin Steele and Kate Horton are going to return. That's something that we could talk about. But what I want to get into today is the potential that the Cubs could trade Nico Hoerner. He's in a contract year. You know that they don't want to pay him a bunch of money because they've got other guys that they feel like could slide into that spot. But he's one of your favorite players. Let's get into that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell, and let's get this party started. Peace, everybody. Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball channel. Great to talk to you guys today. Hit that QR code right there and win one of these. Sweet hat. I got my other hat on, but I should wear this one. Boom, you can get one. Hit that QR code. Be part of Mick Nation, AveD. We talk about it every day on the channel. It's our Web3 home, and all we're doing is building this thing for you guys. It'll be a spot where you can get to a store eventually, do all this other stuff. Right now, though, we got games, weekly cash prizes, way to win stuff. So be part of it. And again, thank you for hanging here and talking Cubs on a daily basis. And you guys make this worth doing. I want to say that. I love you all for that. I know when I said that Nico Hoerner could be on the trade block, some of you guys immediately were like angry. Like, no way. You can't give up the one guy that we rely on in a trade when we finally have a player that's good in the clutch, brings a lot to the table, won a Gold Glove. He's one of the best players on the team. How could you get rid of this guy? Think about the double play combination. Dansby Swanson, Nico Hoerner, right? Michael Busch. Well, here's what the speculation, well, it really starts with, when you see guys that, that want to say, hey, wait a second, right? Here's where the deal could possibly make sense, right? Mark Feinstein, who's an MLB insider, basically was like, look, the Cubs have Nico Hoerner, and he's in the final year of a 3-year, $35 million extension that he signed in March 23. They're probably not going to trade him, but if they did trade him, they could get a lot for him, right? And they don't know, and we don't know, like, what his value is going to be at the end of the season. But here's the deal. If they don't feel like they want to put the money in for a guy, and I know that the knock against him is that he doesn't hit for power, and he barrels the ball up, but he never developed power. I don't know why. I guess like the exit velo or whatever. But he gets on base a ton. He's great in the clutch. He's an excellent defender. The value would be, say you go out and you sign Alex Bregman. Then you take Matt Shaw, you trade him, you trade Nico Hoerner, who's got more value than Matt Shaw right now. You slide Matt Shaw to second base, which is, I think, a more natural position for Shaw than third base. And you could get something good back for Nico. And then, whoever got him would get an excellent second baseman. I'm not telling you guys that that's what they're going to do. I'm saying that they could do that. There's a logic there to building a roster. And the second base position, you got other guys. James Triantos could potentially play second base. Pedro Ramirez could potentially play second base, guys in your minor leagues on top of Matt Shaw. You just don't have a lot of third base options that an Alex Bregman would bring if the Cubs decided to sign him, which is a potential deal that could happen. And Nico is a player that if I was a executive on a opposing team, that I would love to have. Does things the right way, shows up. He's a baller. He's a dirt bag. He's going to get dirty, play the game the right way, and that's a compliment in the game of baseball if you didn't know that. He's one of my favorite Cubs. He's one of my favorite players that came up through our system. I've known Nico for a long time. I'd hate to see him go, but I'm just saying, like, from a business standpoint, it makes sense if you got the right deal back in return. And for Cubs fans, they're looking at it or we're looking at it, you better bring in an Alex Bregman if you're going to get rid of Nico Hoerner. Don't pull this, well, we're not signing anybody over there. We're going to keep Shaw there. We're going to trade Nico, and then we're going to bring a guy up from the minor leagues with no experience to replace Nico. If you're going to win now, you got to have big leaguers that are ready to go. And I feel like I think Shaw's ready to have a big season. I really do. I mean, after watching him last year, maybe a year ahead of where I probably predicted he would be as far as the major leagues go, and he held his own. He's got a great discipline of the strike zone. He got hot there. He's one of the best hitters towards the second half of the season after the All-Star break for a while. Didn't do a whole lot in the postseason, but it was really solid defensively. He's going to give you more pop than Nico. I don't know that he'll get more hits and be on base more than Nico. I don't think he'll be better defensively than Nico, but I don't think that the drop-off would be here. This is something to keep an eye on. You know, and the other part of it is that until the next year's player owners deal's done, it's going to be interesting to see what some team owners do as far as making deals, because this is going to be pretty contentious. We've talked about it before. You know, you remember the Bryce Harper situation with Rob Manfred, and apparently he tried to kick him out of the clubhouse, very disrespectful. And then one of Manfred's guys, you know, one of his hitmen went over and basically is like, hey, it's a bad idea to talk to the commission like that, if you know what I mean. Bad things happen. Allegedly, right? This is going to get rough. So until that's done, some ownership is probably going to be, and I don't know if that's going to be the deal with Tom Ricketts or not, but they're going to probably be a little bit conservative on the kind of deals that happen. So that's something worth kind of paying attention to. But when I look at the Cubs this past season, they finished exactly where I thought they would probably finish. Win a wild card round, come up short in the next round. They didn't have enough pitching and they didn't have enough hitting, but they weren't that far off. You know, they were a couple of big time players from getting there. I think if they would have brought Owen Casey up earlier, he could have helped them in the postseason. I think they totally mismanaged the Owen Casey situation and then when he finally got there, he got hurt. So part of that's bad luck. But look, would they have even used him had he not had the concussion issue? I don't think so. He should have been up there way earlier. And then, you know, they didn't go out and do anything major at the deadline, and a lot of you guys were on their ass for that, and I don't blame you. Like, why not? You know, if you're all in, then you're all in. If you're not, you're not. So we'll see. But do I expect a Nico Hoerner trade? No, but I could see it coming. And if they sign Bregman and it's a long-term deal and they're looking at the financials down the road, they may say, hey, you know what? To be able to pay him, we're going to get rid of Nico now, get something back for him. We'll put Matt Shaw in that spot. If he doesn't do it, we'll have Triantos. Maybe we'll sign a bunch of guys like they love to do off the scrap heap from other organizations that play second base. They'll have other options there. They just won't have probably someone as well-rounded as Nico. Now, the second thing I want to get into is Ryan Helsley. We just did a show where we were like, hey, maybe all you Cardinals fans will hate Ryan Helsley because he's pitching with the Cubs. And we know him from the Cardinals. He was really good. And then he gets traded to the Mets and he stunk. And Baltimore had to make a decision, just like every other team. What Helsley are you going to get? Are you going to get the Cardinals Helsley, or are you going to get the Mets Helsley? And Baltimore felt like, obviously, they were getting the late inning guy that we saw with the Cardinals, and he ends up with a 2-year contract with the Orioles, right? And a pretty big deal when you talk about a reliever. 2 years, $28 million. It includes a player opt-out after the first year. So that's for a player, that's exactly what they want, right? Like, hey, guess what? If I have a good year, I can get out. We saw Alex Bregman do that with the Red Sox. Didn't get quite the deal he wanted, but this is an early signing too. I mean, we're not even to Christmas yet. And so a couple of big time pitchers off the board, and you can tell right away that pitching's at a premium. Dylan Cease, signs with the Blue Jays. American League East contender and rival Baltimore goes out and gets Ryan Helsley to try to shore up their team. And if they're going to compete with Toronto in what some of us might feel like is the toughest division in baseball now, that you got Toronto, Baltimore's got a ton of talent, the Yankees are always good, and the Red Sox. I mean, it's 4 of the 5 teams, and Tampa Bay might come up and surprise you. I mean, it's a really, really tough division. So for Baltimore to go out there, a small market team, and make a signing like this really tells you that that they feel like they're going to have to jump on things early to make sure that they get someone that can go in there and get outs in the late innings. So when you talk about the Cubs, and I kind of got into this at the beginning of the show, like, where are we at right now? Well, Shota Imanaga and the Cubs both kind of turned down that first round, and then Shota took the qualifying offer. He's back on the team. What does that mean to the rotation? Because it feels like the Cubs are still very interested in adding a top front end arm. Would that mean if they did that, they go and trade one of these guys? I don't know, but Justin Steele and Cade Horton are 2 best pitchers, ended the season on the IL. It was for Steele most of the year, and Horton right at the end of the season. They're going to hopefully be back and ready to go for the Cubs when the season starts. What can the Cubs do to try to catch up with Milwaukee? We keep hearing about Milwaukee having issues spending money, and they always seem to find a good option. The Cubs are going to try to do the same thing. Like, what can we do financially to take advantage of the fact that we got more money than every other team in our division? And then what are we going to do to try to build within, right? How can we go out there and find talent from within our system and take advantage of that? So there's 2 areas where, you look at things and go, okay, this is where the Cubs could make some moves. And, it's been a quiet offseason. I don't want to say it hasn't, but every time someone comes off the board like a Helsley, it puts you in a spot as the Cubs to look around and go, okay, how late do we wait, right? Are we going to sign Devin Williams? Are we going to sign Pete Fairbanks? Are we going to, we're going to bring back Brad Keller? What are we doing here? How much money are we going to invest in bullpen arms, and what if we do and we get a guy that comes in and gets hurt right away, and that happens with these guys. So all of that in consideration as we move forward and kind of wonder. And then there's the rotation guys, right? Dylan Cease off the board, Shane Bieber off the board, right? What about Nick Martinez, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly? There's some guys out there, but how willing are you to make that investment? Do you take care of the bullpen first and then go back and add that starter? That's another question. So anyway, that's where we are right now. We're closing in on the month of December, and that's crazy to me. I mean, just to think, like, Thanksgiving's over, and now we're rolling towards December. That means we're going into 2027. Is that true? Man, that's crazy how fast life goes by. It really is. So anyway, like, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell, do all those things. And thank you guys for being here. Go Cubs. And I know you got to hit 2026 first, but I'm just saying, like, I don't want to end this show saying 26 and then you guys being like, what about 27? You said 27, you mean 26? We're getting there. 27 is the year where you get these the player contracts with the ownership's going to be interested anyway. Thank you. Hey, and the last thing I want to tell you is, now that we're here and we're closer and closer to the Christmas season, I've got a trip planned for the Smoky Mountains. Check out the Christmas lights, do all that stuff. You guys need to do the same thing. Visit Sevierville, has you covered. Visit Sevierville.com. All you need to know about the great Christmas lights, the Christmas tour, Shadrick's Christmas, everything for the holidays. Even if you're not Christian, if you're Jewish, hey, you'll love it too. It's a great place in the Smoky Mountains. Check it out. And while you're there, hey, maybe you'll run into a bird that talks like this one.
When you head to the Smoky Mountains, it's only natural to visit Sevierville.
Even we had to check it out.
And we've been here our whole lives.
Experience the adventure of a lifetime.
I'm king of the world.
Even you can get a bird's eye view of the Smokies.
You're going down, Billy. Whoa.
Your Smokies start here.